Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau. Wake up with PRTV. It's time for Good Morning Plateau.
Hour 9 a.m. It's time for the program Good Morning Plateau. Nene Dung will be your guide from now till it's 10 a.m. Stay tuned.
Good Morning Plateau on
A pleasant morning to you out there. Thank you for joining us on your darling station, Peace 90.5. The program is your favorite on radio. Good Morning Plateau. It's a beautiful, rainy, very wet morning, and I hope that you're out of your beds as it is, and you're at work. The rain cannot be an excuse, and so you have to get out of bed and go and put in your best for today. It's Thursday, and we will continue in the episodes that we look at how tertiary institutions are faring 3 years into the administration of Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang. This morning, we will be beaming our searchlight on the Plateau State Polytechnic. Of course, we would like to know, how has Poly been faring in the past 3 years? What are the achievements and what are the challenges? And we also have certain concerns that we will be bringing to the fore, and we hope that the chief executive of Poly will be able to give us answers to the questions that will be raised. Of course, the rector is in the studio, Dr. Clement Chirman. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you.
All right, you know the drill. Halftime into the program, you can join the conversation, and you can also look us up on Facebook. Good Morning Plateau, powered by PRTVC. Of course, right about now we are live streaming, so you can join us and join the conversation. So we'll begin this way. Talk to us about Poly. Poly is an institution that has come a long way in Plateau State, and I know that a lot of children, young people who have not been able to find themselves into the university, they dive into the Polytechnic as, another option. So talk to us about Plateau State Polytechnic 3 years down the line in the administration of Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for creating the opportunity for us to discuss Plateau State Polytechnic Barking Levy. Let me first mention that Plateau State Polytechnic is the premier state-owned tertiary institution. The first, the Polytechnic is doing well, and under the leadership of our governor, Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang, the Polytechnic is being transformed. The Polytechnic is taking its pace, and the Polytechnic is on the right track. And I want to tell you that the Polytechnic is becoming the destination of those who want to fit into the emerging economy and those who want to have purposeful education, and education that will make them to become functional members of the society. Let me also correct the impression, particularly in your introduction. The Polytechnic is not an option to university. It's not as if when you don't get admission in the university, that's why you come to the Polytechnic. That is the misconception, and some of the things we'll seek to correct. Polytechnic is completely a different sector, and people go there not because they cannot go into the university. They go there because they specifically choose Polytechnic education. And I will unveil the advantages in the course of this discussion. But I want to tell you that under this government, I think we've not had it so good in the Polytechnic as we are having it under this government. And the evidence is clear. The testimony is in the air. And everybody who has gone to the Polytechnic or has cared to know what is happening in Plateau State Polytechnic will testify that under this government, the Polytechnic has taken a very good step that will put it on the international map. So we are fine.
Well, I like that. I like the fact that you're on and you are fine.
Yes.
Now, let's look at it from this way. Let's look at, first of all, the certificates that is being awarded by the Polytechnic. And you mentioned that the Polytechnic is a different kind of education, offers a different kind of education,
yes,
while the university offers a different kind of education. At the end of each type of education, in the university we have a degree awarding a certificate. In the Polytechnic we have the diploma awarding certificate, the higher national diploma. And I know that for some time we've been trying to, the government has tried to, streamline education from the university and from the Polytechnic, that's the certificate. So talk to us about the differences and what makes Polytechnic education more unique than the university education.
Thank you very much. I think I'm interested in that because most people don't seem to understand what Polytechnic education is all about. And they have the misconception that Polytechnic education is of the lower rank. And therefore, they seems to profile Polytechnic graduates as the second-class citizens or whatever. That is the problem we have. Particularly, is a national problem, and we need to address it. Not only in Nigeria, but in most African countries, where people have a lot of interest on certificates. And they will tell you, I have BSc this, I have MA this, I have this one has HND. But let me ask you to make your own measurement, even within the PRTV. And then you see the performance of Polytechnic graduates who work with you here and others who come from other sectors. It is up for you to tell us what is happening.
I hope I'm not allowed to give an answer right now.
Yeah, you can, in the course of the conversation, you can answer it yourself. But I believe that the answer will justify my sentiments. Polytechnic education is designed to give students or graduates practical content that will match the theoretical knowledge they acquire. So when you pass through the system, you should be able to perform and to deliver effective services. So it is not all about gathering knowledge, but you have the capacity to deliver. And that is the difference between Polytechnic education and other sectors. So the graduate who comes from the Polytechnic sector is supposed to show strength in the field, is supposed to be practical, and should be able to address the issues practically. That is not the same thing with what you will find in other sectors. And Polytechnic education was designed initially to meet that expectation. In the course of time, people seems to profile the sector. This one is a weak sector, and they have made students or candidates to believe that it is only when you don't get admission into the university that you come into the Polytechnic. That is not the issue now. And I want to tell you that with the emerging trend of things, you will believe with me that certificates does not count again. You can have your PhD in 5 different areas and you will still keep it in your box and you will still be unemployed. You can have a master's degree. A lot of people in the field, master's degree, PhD, BSc, BA, but they don't have jobs to do. What Polytechnic education seeks to do is to bridge that gap. We produce graduates, and particularly with the new trends of education in the Polytechnic system, we produce graduates who have the theoretical knowledge and the practical knowledge. So we don't produce people who necessarily look for job, but those who will become employer of labors.
Interesting.
So, yes, we produce people who have the knowledge. At the end of it all, they don't look for jobs, but they become employer of labor. And there are a lot of them in town. You know, yesterday I was having a conversation with Dr. Fish, the popular Dr. Fish on the Plateau, and he's a Polytechnic graduate. He's a Polytechnic graduate, but because of his sense of innovation, enterprise, and the knowledge, you can see what he's doing on the Plateau today. And there are a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot of other people like that on the Plateau here. The type of education that we should be promoting is not the education that will make us to gather certificates. So what we are doing in the Polytechnic today is that you come in, you can read any course. You can come into the Polytechnic to read public administration. You have your HND in public administration, but when you are graduating, you leave with a particular skill. It is that skill that will make you to fit into the Nigerian economy. You can come into the Polytechnic. We have our entrepreneurship center that will make you live with HND in public administration, and you can become a printer at the same time. So HND may not give you instant job, but the printing will make you to become an employer of labor. You can come into the Polytechnic to read mechanical engineering. You have your HND in mechanical engineering, but you will also graduate as a tailor. The mechanical engineering may not give you a job immediately, but the tailoring may make you to become an employer of labor. And that is what is happening all over the world. And people have to understand the new trends and see why polytechnic education is the in thing and why everybody is thinking towards that direction. I have taken time to study to know what is happening in other countries of the world. And I can tell you that if you go to a place like Germany or China, the type of education they give is not exactly what we are doing here. In some countries, even when you have a degree, you will have to go to a technical school to have specific skills before you will be employed. And that is what is happening. But when emphasis is on certificate, that's why we continue to have people roaming the streets, unemployment. So the polytechnic education is there to bridge the gap. And that's where Plateau State Polytechnic becomes the best option.
Interesting. I like the fact that you said you may obtain a certificate, but you still have to also gain a skill.
Yes.
Which will make you not an employee, but an employer.
Yes.
So let's talk about how the Plateau State government is investing in the Plateau State Polytechnic. What is the strength of the Polytechnic in terms of lecturers, in terms of infrastructure, and what is the student population, the infrastructure in the Polytechnic? Is it able to cater for the numerous students you have?
Thank you very much. I told you that under this government, I believe that a lot of our listeners will be able to tell you the story. I challenge you, or I ask you to take a walk into either the Jos campus or the main campus of the Polytechnic today, and you'll see what this government has been able to transform the Polytechnic into it. When Governor Mutfwang came on board, and when we came on board equally in 2024, we discovered that a lot of our programs were not accredited. There was no accreditation. And you know, in the tertiary sector, when your programs are not accredited, it's just as good as not offering them at all. The first thing we attacked was to present about 34 programs in 27 departments in 2024. I want to tell you that we got that accreditation with the support of the state government. The government provided the funding. We got the accreditation, and that was an excellent result. As if that was not enough, we wanted to expand. We wanted to expand what we were having, and we decided to go some miles to see whether we'll be able to achieve that. In March this year, with the support of this government, we presented over 40 programs for accreditation. The National Board for Technical Education came to Plateau State Polytechnic, and I want to tell you that we got 43 accreditation, re-accreditation, and resource inspection into new programs. That today, as we are talking now, Plateau State Polytechnic has about 61 programs that are offered. 61 programs that are offered. And out of these 61 programs, under this administration, we've introduced about 25 new programs. Most of these programs are in key engineering courses, environmental studies, or in sciences. We have some others in management, and these are the things we are doing. The programs that we have in Plateau State Polytechnic today are many. I want to tell you that, like in the past, where people will need to travel far to go to obtain polytechnic education, completely there is no need for that today on the plateau, because virtually every course that is offered in Polytechnic, we have it in Plateau State Polytechnic Barkinladi today. And not just at the diploma level, we also have them at the higher national diploma level. So we have HND, we have national diploma, and all these things, students can go in there to acquire either the national diploma or the higher national diploma, and their future is secured. We've introduced new courses like architecture, in addition to the other ones we were having. Architecture, survey and geoinformatics, mechatronics, and we have unbundled the computer science department. Because of the new trends in education today, we've unbundled our computer science into artificial intelligence, cloud computing, web networking, and students have options to go in, and even the mass communication, your own field. The mass communication, your own field. We've unbundled mass communication. You can either go in for media studies or you can go into journalism to specialize. And we have the same thing in other fields. Even we've introduced courses that everybody will go in and feel okay. We have courses like crime management. Our law diploma is now at the national diploma level. We have introduced courses like procurement, insurance, and risk management, and all these things are available in the Polytechnic. So under this administration, we've given candidates options and our graduates the ability to be able to compete, and they can compete favorably well. But what I want to emphasize here, and I want you to take note of it, is what we are doing. You know, Polytechnic education is a technological institution. It's not like a conventional school where you go and you just come out. Our entrepreneurship center. In fact, the most interesting thing about the entrepreneurship center of the Polytechnic is that we are not only training the students, we are also training people who are from outside the Polytechnic. As I'm talking to you,
Training the trainers?
Yes, as I'm talking to you now, GIZ, one of our partners, are currently training people, youths from Haipang community into various trades. They come into the Polytechnic and GIZ is facilitating their training into various trades. So you see, we are not only concentrating on the students, we are also training people from outside, and they can come in here to learn a lot of things. So skills everywhere. You know, when His Excellency came on board, there was something he did. We are talking about programs now and the standardization of what we have. Apart from the accreditation, the new things happening in Plateau State Polytechnic. When His Excellency came on board, he single-handedly facilitated a partnership between the government and UNDP. And UNDP came into Plateau State Polytechnic to create an agro makerspace. You know, this makerspace, people don't seem to understand what it is all about. The governor came in there, it was flagged off, and UNDP has come to install a lot of equipment in Plateau State Polytechnic for this purpose. The makerspace will be all embracing. It will be a place where UNDP trainees will come in to train our students and other members of the community to produce prototypes, innovation prototypes in various areas. So once you have the knowledge, once you have the capacity to be able, in fact, what we intend to achieve in that place is that those who have the ability will be able to produce a lot of innovative works. In fact, we're even thinking of producing things like handsets. Yes, that prototype, the prototype we have in that place will be able to achieve this, and the equipment already assembled in that place will be able to help us. This prototype will be scaled up for commercialization eventually. So there will be product improvement, and then our people on the plateau will benefit. I want you to note this, that under this administration for the first time, TED Fund has identified Plateau State Polytechnic as an innovation center. And there are a lot of things that will be done in Plateau State Polytechnic that people will see the benefits very, very soon. So in terms of programs and some of the things we do, very excellent things are on ground. I want to tell you that when we talk about infrastructures, because you mentioned it, when we talk about infrastructures, in the history of Plateau State Polytechnic, I can confidently tell you that we have never witnessed a period of massive infrastructural development the way we are witnessing under Governor Mutfwang. Go to Jos campus. I don't know when last you entered Jos campus.
I think about 2 or 3 months ago.
You are living in the past. Go into Jos campus today and you will see what is happening in Jos campus. The massive infrastructural development going on in Jos campus, and go to main campus. Jos campus is just the little thing you will see. Go to the main campus and see the level of infrastructural development in that place. Because what we believe is that if you intend to improve on these programs, you have to create a conducive learning environment, a conducive working environment. Once the environment is beautiful, once the environment is conducive, learning becomes easier, working becomes easier. So in terms of infrastructural development, we have received a lot of encouragement, a lot of interventions from the state government, and there are some of these interventions that His Excellency himself facilitated through TED Fund. And then everywhere, we have projects everywhere. And we are doing this thing because we intend to expand the Polytechnic, and in the near future, maybe as the governor is thinking, make it a university or whatever thing. But in terms of infrastructure, everything is going on fine. We have new things going on. You see, recently, there's something that happened recently. You know, we have been having challenges, particularly in Haipang, security challenges in Biladi generally. And recently, in Plateau State Polytechnic, we had also a test of that challenge. We lost one of our students as a result of these bandit activities. I want to tell you that through the encouragement of government, we have been able to secure funding to fence the whole of the main campus.
Wow.
Yes. We are fencing the main campus. The contractor is on ground, and that place has been fenced to ensure that the environment becomes conducive for students to come and learn. And these are some of the things happening. In terms of equipment, Plateau State Polytechnic, the type of equipment we have in Plateau State Polytechnic, in our workshops and laboratories, the best. In fact, most universities come to Plateau State Polytechnic to use our facilities. Yes, most universities come to use our equipment. We have a lot of equipment. Last year alone, TED Fund gave us over 800 million to improve on our equipment alone. And we have equipment everywhere. So when we talk about the practical content of what we deliver, we are not just talking about coming to teach. The students go there, they are taught, and they see the practice. And what we've introduced in the Polytechnic now is that the practical knowledge of the learning should be more than the theoretical knowledge. And that's why we don't joke with practicals. We ensure funds are released to the various departments to get consumables that will make these students have practical touch of what is on ground. And they know much about their fields.
You know, you're talking with a lot of enthusiasm. You're talking with a lot of conviction. Of course, you are the one at the helm of affairs. And earlier on, you talked about, technical innovations like producing handsets and all of that, and how people come from outside to learn from the Polytechnic. So the question I want to ask now is, how do you leverage on talents we have on the plateau? People like somebody like Luca Davuzang, I think Luca Zhang.
Yes.
of Zhang Technologies.
Yes.
I wouldn't know if he's a graduate of the Polytechnic, but I know he's a citizen of Plateau State, and he's done wonderfully well in terms of innovations. He has manufactured something, a foot mouse, that, and a power bank. So how do you leverage on talents like that so that he can also, come into the Polytechnic to also teach the students on some practical knowledge?
We've met with him. Anywhere we see talent, we immediately try to create relationship. And I've not even talked about affiliations and partnership. I've just talked about UNDP.
Yes.
And then
GIZ.
I mentioned GIZ. We have partnership with some talents. People who have talents on the plateau. People like Luca immediately will catch in on him to ensure we translate the talent he has into Plateau State Polytechnic. We have gone into partnership with some local companies on the plateau here. There's this Beni Agro that is on the plateau here. We've got into partnership with them, and we are already developing a research framework that will help us to produce something unique for Plateau State that will be unveiled in the near future. And we anywhere we see opportunities, we catch in on the opportunity, we utilize it, because that is what polytechnic education is all about. We try to ensure we harvest whatever local resources we have, particularly those who have. Look at people like Palmtronics. Palmtronics?
Yes.
Is a graduate.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Palmtronic is a graduate. People like that, these people like Palmtronic should be the mirror through which the polytechnic system is seen. Dentech, if you're going through Millionaire Quarters, there's that Dentech company by the left before the bridge. They go into aluminium manufacturing. There's that story building just before the bridge, Millionaires Quarters. There's a graduate. And these are people that are taking over the plateau economy. There are times we invite them, they come to participate in an entrepreneurship center, teaching our students these skills. And the students learn them. Some of them graduate. I know a lot of our students who leave and they say they want to be on their own. They don't even need government job. One came to tell us recently, he finished from Plateau State Polytechnic. He said he has set up his own company, mining company, and he's doing very, very well. He does not need a government job. And these are the type of things we are talking about. So once we have a talent, once we have somebody that has special skills, we immediately leverage on it. We go into the person, we establish a relationship, we form partnership, and then we ensure that it is harvested for the benefit of the polytechnic. A lot going on in Plateau State Polytechnic.
All right, in case you're just tuning in, this is Good Morning Plateau on Peace 90.5 FM, and of course our searchlight today is on the Plateau State Polytechnic, looking at the 3 years of this administration, how tertiary institutions have fared under the administration of Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang. Of course, we've been talking with the Rector of the Polytechnic, Dr. Clement Chirman, who has been talking to us about the achievements so far in the Polytechnic. It's already 9:30, and we want to take a break, and I have so many questions I would love to ask, but I'll hold on to the questions. When we return from the break, we will continue this conversation, and you too, our listener, can join in this conversation by calling us on the number 081-2588-6048. That is the number to call. You can also hook us up on Facebook, Good Morning Plateau, powered by PRTVC, and join the conversation. We are live on Facebook. You can join the conversation, and you can also send in your comments and your questions. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go away.
Having breakfast, driving, or in the office?
Let us keep you company on Good Morning Plateau, Mondays to Fridays.
Tune in for lively discussions on trending topics and issues that matter most to Plateau citizens.
From politics to culture, economy to entertainment.
We'll dive into the topics shaping Plateau State.
Catch the conversation daily and have your say.
Stay informed, engaged, and inspired with Good Morning Plateau.
Your daily dose of Plateau.
All right, welcome back. It's still Good Morning Plateau on Peace 90.5 FM, and this morning we are looking at the achievements of the Plateau State Polytechnic under the 3 years of Barrister Caleb Mutfwang's administration, and the Rector, Dr. Clement Chirman, is here with us in the studio. Before we went on break, you talked a lot about the infrastructural development, the kind of knowledge that the students in the Polytechnic acquire, the kind of partnerships and networking that you are engaged in. Now, what I want to ask you before, of course, we begin to pick the calls of the listener out there is, how has the Polytechnic been able to leverage on competitions, especially competitions that are technology driven? I know that there's competitions where people or students will have to create things, innovations, and then, showcase these innovations and see how has the Polytechnic been able to leverage on that?
Okay. Let me also take my time to tell you that with these beautiful stories coming from the Polytechnic, you will wonder how are we driving the process, because we are x-raying what His Excellency has been able to do in the Plateau State Polytechnic. Let me remind you that last year His Excellency approved the employment of over 800 staff in Plateau State Polytechnic, and these staff came in various fields with various types of certificates. So we have experts that are driving the process. The issue of shortage of staff is no longer there. So in every field, we have those who are driving the process and driving the innovation initiative of Plateau State Polytechnic. So we have a stabilized system. Our system is stabilized. Once you have staff that are motivated, and this staff get the emolument as at when due, this staff are being sponsored to go on further studies. This staff can attend workshops and conferences. And the good thing about Plateau State Polytechnic, just like most tertiary institutions in Nigeria, is that our staff can even go for international conferences. Once you have a paper you can deliver, I'm telling you, you can go. Even TED Fund will sponsor you, and even as an institution, once we notice that you have something good, and you can go even to America, you can go to UK, you can go to Singapore, anywhere we sponsor you to go, come back, and the knowledge will be for the benefit of the Polytechnic. When we came on board, I want to tell you, we were able to sponsor a staff to go to China, to go and learn. She learned a lot on food science, and that has helped in improve. That was not TED Fund, but even it was the institution. It has helped in positioning our food science department into one of the best. And with the introduction of the HND, the sky is our limit. You've asked questions about whether our students are translating all this knowledge into, students are encouraged to go into innovations. Recently, our students in electrical electronics were able, on their own, they were able to produce traffic lights, yes, that we can use in the Polytechnic. And in most departments in Plateau State Polytechnic today, because of this problem of power, we don't seem to believe that PHCN will be able to solve our problems. And therefore, we have resorted to the use of our department students going into projects to even help us in producing power. And we are relying on our own. in most of the departments. The only area where we have challenge is where maybe the solar that they assemble and some of the technological things they bring up today may not be able to carry the strength of some of the heavy machines we have, that we may have to resort to the use of our generating plant or even PHCN, as the case may be. So a lot of innovations, there are a lot of prototypes. I think what we will do is that we will soon organize an exhibition, and we will call PRTV, the media, and people of Plateau to come into the Polytechnic, have a look at what our students are producing, the innovations, the things they are producing to improve and to address the local content, the local, our local needs. You know, on the Plateau here, we produce acha. On the Plateau here, we produce acha. I want to tell you that in Plateau State Polytechnic, we've been able to bring machines that improved on what we do. You know, we have not been talking. We have not been in the media. We've not been talking, not because we don't know how to be in the media, but we believe that a time will come when we will call the entire state to come, walk in, see the level of innovations, what our students are producing, not just the students, what our staff are producing, and what Polytechnic has been able to produce. So a lot of innovations going on in the Polytechnic.
Okay, I think I'll pause you for now and listen to the caller to hear what they have to say in response to all we're discussing this morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good morning. It's Radio Mama. Ada Uno calling from Rantia.
Good morning, Radio Mama.
Good morning, Rector.
Good morning.
Incidentally, I retired from that Polytechnic so many years back as a chief lecturer. And I know what has been, what our students have been accomplishing, you know. Just that we need more funding. Technical education is capital intensive. And when I went to the Polytechnic in recent times, when we went for the pensioner meetings and all that, I saw some improvement, you know. But I'm just urging the the state governor to do more and pay more attention to upgrading some of the facilities there, so that this issue of unemployment will drastically reduce. Let Plateau State not be seen as a country where, a state where students could graduate from there and they cannot be self-reliant, you know. So if we have more of just what the rector is saying now, if we have so many of them, they will be employers of labor. They employ themselves and employ other people. And they won't be seeing the ministry as a last bus stop, waiting for somebody to die or somebody to retire or resign, going to politics before they can go and replace it. It shouldn't be so. If we have enough of them in innovations and all that, this unemployment thing will die down, and the insecurity will reduce. Because insecurity is not fought by only bullets or whatever. When you have good, it also helps. All the same, let's not give up on Nigeria, including Plateau State, to get better.
Thank you very much, Ada. We appreciate your contribution on the program. We have another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining. Your name and where you're calling from.
It's Nene. Good morning. I will get in the house. Good morning. It's Daniel calling from Pashi. I think Doctor has spoken very well. Rector, good morning. We appreciate you for coming on board. You have explained yourself vividly concerning Polytechnic. And I want to concur and also give support to all that you have said. In respect to what is happening in the society today, if there's anything we so much need is for us to actually be self-employed. Particularly looking at the labor market being saturated, you cannot get work. You always have graduates, even those with papers, qualifications, A1, they have first class and whatever. Some of them are just lying there walking about on the street. And I think the best thing for us, as far as Nigeria is concerned, is for us to embrace the polytechnic education. Because why? That is where you can get innovation, you can be self-employed. So I want to throw out my voice to whoever is listening to us, particularly the youth, particularly those that probably have gotten the qualification that they want to probably go back to Polytechnic. If you have the talent, if you have the means, this is the right time for you to think twice and go back and do the needful. It will not be too late for you to go to Polytechnic, spend 3 or 4 years, particularly, and get those ideas, the skill that is needed to you to help yourself in the society. What society needs is value. providing solution, and I think Polytechnic has what it takes. So, and I want to say is that we must take this seriously, and if we take it seriously, it will help us. Then secondly, is the fact that I want to ask this, please. Polytechnic has been a place for innovation. And you said one of these days you call PRTV to come and see exhibition. And if you want PRTV to see exhibition, tentatively, what do you have in the past and even in the present that will call for that? Because it is one thing to call PRTV, it is yet another thing because we have made mention of some few. And I believe that those you like solar, you made mention of solar and some others. I want to believe that you should have something tangible because it's not enough for us to think of solar alone. And it's just a form of advice. I'm just advising. So if you can do that, I think it will help us. We want a situation whereby on the plateau, we have your product selling and adding value and selling as many things, because in the agriculture, what do we have there? In other facets of life within the plateau, what significantly from the data point of view or statistical point of view can we justify from Polytechnic that yes, you have done something tangible? I think if you do that, it will help a lot. Thank you so much. Good morning, Plateau.
Thank you very much, Chris. We appreciate your contribution on the program. We have quite a number of followers. Dwight Longcat says, good morning. The workaholic distinguished Senate Rector. Gimba Naribet says, good morning, presenter and special guest. And Abdusalam Musa is watching from Mejiju, Tasha. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Jeff and the Rector in the house.
Good morning.
Morning. In fact, to me, the Polytechnic education has no use these days. Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
From where?
Yes, because now, if you have the diploma and the HND, you have been left in the same grade level with somebody with the HND and the ND. What are you doing about that?
Okay. Thank you very much.
That's my question.
All right. So he's concerned about the discrepancy in terms of civil service. Okay. Freeman Gwazing Zingfa says it is good. And Nirat Sunday says we have building projects here in Jos campus. And I can say it's been done by our graduates. So we really love you, sir. I'm sure that is coming from your either lecturers or your students. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining. Your name and where you're calling from.
Azia Warpita is my name. I'm calling from North.
Good morning, Azi. Go ahead.
Yes. Honestly, Rector, you are doing well, sir. And if you see the project that's going on at both at the main camp and the campus, you know that, yes, under your administration, the Plateau State Polytechnic is witnessing tremendous achievements in terms of infrastructure. I want to appeal to you, sir, the issue of fencing at the main camp and the issue of security there should be one of your topmost priorities, so that all those lofty ideas that we have for the Polytechnic will come to fruition. But my concern is that, as we rightly mentioned, Rector, you see, Polytechnic education is technical, and that is exactly what Nigeria needs to do. If we cannot diversify our education and mostly concentrate on the technical aspects, that I'm seeing some efforts by federal government to revive some of these technical colleges. So we need to go back there so that we will have these students prepared from secondary school, so that they will, from there, they will have the idea of going to Polytechnic. Polytechnic should not be a second option, maybe when as learning connected from the beginning. It shouldn't be no, everybody wants to go to university. It is when I don't have a corner point, then I will now say Polytechnic. No, let's prepare their mind that to this technical education, then they will now further in the Polytechnic. But my problem, as I alluded to before, is that most of the Polytechnic now, because of the dichotomy that is going on, they will now, every Polytechnic will say, we want to be offering degrees like university. And the most famous Polytechnic in this country today, both state and federal, they are now trying to see that they want to be offering degrees and they will be a university. So please, Rector, you people are in that sector, try as much as possible to strongly revise and sustain Polytechnic education in Nigeria. That's my God bless you.
Thank you very much, Azi. We appreciate your contribution on the program. We have somebody who says, thank you for this information, Wisdom Ponkat Langang. And Bright Moses is watching us live from Gombe State. Thank you very much, bright. And of course, from your Polytechnic platform, says the man the job fits. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Your name and where you're calling from, please?
This is Ambassador Caleb Lamarle, Radio Senator from Nala Nakowa.
All right, go ahead.
This issue of Polytechnic, they are the engine room and life wire of the nation. You can't do without the use of the hands, the brain, and the heart for practical activities. So we are pleading for the government to help them in terms of funding so that more hands, more hearts and brains should be used for practical activities for the contribution of the nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your contribution. Lily Nimnan says, God continue to strengthen you and give you wisdom for handling the humanities, both the staff and students. And Lydia Palm says, good morning, my principal, the workaholic rector. Good morning, presenter, watching from Plapoli, Haipang. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining. Your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Isaac, the radio speaker from the East.
Good morning, radio speaker. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I think the radio has spoken very well, and I commend him very sincerely for what he has done in the Polytechnic. He has transformed the Polytechnic with so many innovations, so many projects going on there. And I want to commend the barrister Clement Chirman, late administration, for creating the enabling environment for this development in the Polytechnic. I want to move about two callers have spoken my mind on the issue of dichotomy. So that is my major concern. There is this dichotomy between HND graduates and the degree graduates. So I want to call on government to do something about that so that we bridge the gap. If something is not done about it, I think I know quite a number of Polytechnic graduates that are now have still gone back to the university to acquire a degree. So government should still look into that and do something about it. Thank you very much. Do have a nice day.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your contribution on the program. We can still take one or two calls and then we return to the conversation. Call us 081-2588-6048. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Jonathan Morvet from Mangu.
Okay, Jonathan, go ahead.
Yeah, but I would love to talk about the dichotomy between the HND and the ND, and of course the degree. There is something that will be done so that children don't go after HND, go to university, have ND, go and learn for another program, what we call a certificate. ND, HND, and university degree, what are the differences? The dichotomy should be done. The should be done about it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jonathan. We appreciate you. We may have to halt on the call so that I will give the rector opportunity to respond to the issues being raised. This caller, let's just take him.
With the Federal Inland Revenue in Abuja, they are a graduate of Plapoli. So I want to appreciate what Plapoli is doing. And then I want to appeal to the management. Make sure don't play with staff welfare. That's my point. I love what you're doing. Keep it up.
Thank you very much, Krankes. Let me just take this call, this comment. This is coming from Kenneth Sulong from Holshe. He says he wants to commend the Executive Governor of Plateau State, Barrister Clement Chirman, for the massive transformation going on in the Polytechnic and to the best. interesting. And I'm sure that this is what a lot of people are saying. Yes, some have said, okay, we have building projects. I've read some of this comments. Posat Yakon is watching. Sally Eric is watching. Lily Nimran is watching. And Godfrey G is watching. And Danat says, good morning, Dr. Chirman. As a proud graduate of Plateau State Polytechnic, who just completed NYSC, sincerely appreciate your leadership and commitment to improve our institution. Is proud to be an alumnus of the Polytechnic. May God continue to bless and strengthen you as you lead the school to greater heights. And Lily is watching from Papoli Just campus. Emily Plangnan is watching. Quite a number of people watching. And Jiba Kopnan and Juma says, proud of you guys. Keep up the good work. Of course, workaholic leader, God bless you for all you do. Quite a number of people are watching and commending the rector, and I think this is a good one. Peter Aziz says, good morning, presenter and director. The Polytechnic under your leadership is witnessing tremendous transformation. What you're doing different to improve on welfare? What are you doing differently to improve welfare of staff, and how are you creating space that they, giving you very good support. So we're halting on the call so that we give you time, even though time is fast spent, give you time to respond to the issues raised. Most of the issues about dichotomy in certificates. What do you have to say about that?
Exactly. Interest on what is happening. Some have offered purposeful suggestions. Some have raised issues that are of great concern. The issue of dichotomy is the issue that has affected polytechnic education, and not just polytechnic education, even other tertiary sector in this country. The dichotomy, and that is, that one is a legislative matter. Let me tell you, you see, some of these issues that exist just in the psyche of the people. It's just in the psyche. Take a polytechnic graduate. When I came in here, I told you, I said, you work in PRTV. Our graduates are working with you in PRTV. The others who come from other sector working in this place, put them on the job and tell us who is performing. And that should be the yardstick for measurement. The issue of dichotomy has been there. It has been entrenched. And it is because Nigeria seems to lay more emphasis on certificate. But that emphasis is already failing the country today. And how is it failing the country? It is failing the country because people are getting the certificate and there is no job. And that is why the failure comes in. And that is why the polytechnic education comes in. I want to tell you that a lot of things are happening. And the good news for polytechnic graduates is that the Polytechnic Act is being reviewed. I'm aware it has gone through public hearing at the National Assembly, and the content and mandate of polytechnic education will be reviewed. And once that is reviewed, this issue of dichotomy will be completely removed. Because our graduates are measured by not what they can do in the field, but they are measured by the name of the environment where they obtain their certificates. And that is a problem. Nobody measured them with what they do. But they will say, where do you get your certificate? I want to tell you that in the whole world, nobody is doing this type of thing. Nobody is doing it. Do you know the embarrassing aspect of it? I am a university. People go after polytechnic. Somebody mentioned it. They go to university to obtain degrees. I want to tell you, after my PhD, I came back to the polytechnic to obtain diploma. Because I want to have the practical content. You see, it depends on who is in the field. It depends on how you look at these issues. Your perception, your understanding, and your knowledge of the current trend in the world. It is unfair to judge somebody not because the person cannot do the job, but you judge somebody because he comes from a particular environment. Very embarrassing. Do you know that even as a polytechnic lecturer, you write a paper, you present your paper, you publish your work. In some places, they will say because you are working in a polytechnic, the paper cannot be considered. There's no way in the whole world that type of thing is done. In Plateau State Polytechnic, you see, it is just this issue of mandate, legislative mandate, and once the Federal Polytechnic Act is reviewed and it becomes the standard to be used, you will see the difference. Do you know in Plateau State Polytechnic, Barkin Ladi, our manpower, I've said this here before, we have more PhD holders than most universities in this country. Yes, we can offer masters, we can offer PhD. It is just that the legislative framework does not permit us to do that. And it is something that can be done at the National Assembly. That's all. In South Africa, polytechnics offer up to PhD. It depends on how the framework is made. This issue of dichotomy is something that we created and we make it to exist in the psyche. We make students who go through polytechnic education to pity themselves. And that's the problem with this country. We should create space. Let us allow them to compete. A bank manager walked into my office and told me, he said, Rector, I want to tell you this, that I'm a bank manager. I work with these people. Those who perform in the bank are the graduates from the polytechnics. They are the ones who know the work. They are the ones who do the work. They understand every skills. But when it comes to placement, even in government cycle, they will say you have a polytechnic certificate, you will stop at this level. You have this one, you will go to this level. Why? Go and look at the curriculum. Look at the curriculum. Some of the things that are taught in the polytechnic are graduates who leave after HND. They go to university to obtain degrees. I'm telling you, what we teach them in Diploma 2 is what they are teaching them in 400 level in the university.
Interesting.
I'm telling the truth. And these things are taught by people who are also PhD holders, resource persons. If we want to promote polytechnic education, I'm telling you this issue of dichotomy must be addressed. And this one is beyond Plateau State. This one is a national issue. And it will be addressed at that level.
You know, Rector, I wish we could continue. I wish we could go on and on and on. But it's already 10 o'clock. Our time is fast gone. So I want to thank you. Yes, we may have to look for another platform to bring you on to respond to these other issues. But we want to say thank you very much for coming on the program to talk to us about what is happening at the Plateau State Polytechnic and the efforts of the current administration in ensuring that Plateau State Polytechnic is the best among equals. Thank you so much for coming, sir.
Let me use this opportunity to commend His Excellency the Governor. I'm telling you, if you have a governor who has special interest in education, the way our governor is doing, Plateau State will produce results and Plateau State will be measured on higher grounds.
Thank you so much. I'm sure His Excellency is listening. If he is not, his lieutenants are listening and they will take the message to him.
Yes.
Thank you to all who called, who sent in messages. We appreciate you. On behalf of the executive producer, Rita Kachilompam, supervising producer, Kudungyang, producer, Inga Samuel, and Titus Dates, the studio manager is Lawrence Denat, our engineer is Binkat Kwargak, and those from the ICT, we have Praise God Wefoot, our IT students from Plateau State University Bokos, and of course our correspondent from the newsroom, and our DCA for today is Plangret Dabang. My name is Nene Dung. Good morning, Plateau.
PRTV, committed to you.